There's a difference in pulling someone to try to get them to do what you want and complimenting them. This idea sprung about of, well, what if a woman wants to ask a man out? What if a woman wants to propose to her boyfriend? As a woman, I would encourage you to welcome to the Dear Future Husband podcast. I'm your host, Christian Bevere, and I'm so glad that you're here today. And if you are, you most likely will find yourself in this season of being a single woman that is wanting and ready to date, but maybe you're finding some obstacles. Maybe there's a guy you're interested in, but you're not sure if he's interested. Maybe you are just tired of men not showing initiative, or you're just new to dating and you're like, hey, how should I do this? It's 2025. We're in the modern age. Dating has changed a lot over the last 5 years, if not the last 50 years. And I'd like some guidance on Christian dating, biblical dating, or just, hey, can you help me out? No need to fret. We're here. We're going to talk about this idea of who should make the first move. Now, traditionally, the long-standing argument was that the man should initiate. He should make the first move. He should ask you out, show up on your doorstep with flowers, tell you his intentions, ask for your father's blessing, whatever it was, depending on whatever time period it was. The men would make the first move. But in the last, I wouldn't even say the last 5 years, this has been going on for a little bit longer, but with the rise of modern women and like independent women, this idea sprung about of, well, what if a woman wants to ask a man out? We've even seen this go so far as, what if a woman wants to propose to her boyfriend? Which, that's another conversation for another time. But we really see this rise of women feeling like, I know what I want, and is it wrong if I voice that? Now, that is what I actually want to talk to you about today, because I don't think they are two of the same things. They're not two in the same. There is ways for you to know what you want, to be strong, to be discerning, to be articulate and well versed and communicating, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want, these are my goals in life. And I think that's a beautiful, beneficial thing. But what does that look like actionably? Actionably, is that a word? We'll see. What does that look like actionably in dating? Now, if you've been following the podcast for any amount of time, you know that we have an Instagram channel called @the Dear Future Husband Podcast. And there we like to share comments, share stories, give advice. Even you ladies and some of you guys that are now listening like to give advice there too, of like, hey, this is what I've had, this is what I have that hasn't worked out too well, this is what I'm trying, and this is what I'm seeing in the Christian dating realm. And I love that when you guys actually share your stories, or we'll send in DMs and questions, and we get to like almost have a one-on-one chat. Though I like to pretend these podcasts are one-on-one chat and we're just like sipping coffee, having girl time, something like that. But I did have a comment from a viewer come in, and I want to share what she is walking through as kind of a moment of reflection for why we're having this conversation and how real of a struggle, if you want to call it, it is for women right now that are dating and not necessarily seeing what they want to see coming from the other side. AKA, I'll just say this right here, guys, if you like a girl, just ask her out. We wouldn't be making this video if there was more of that. But nonetheless, let's divulge. So she sent in a comment and she said, hey, I like this guy. He is in my church. We do small group or youth night together. We've had some interactions. It's going well. But I don't know exactly how interested he is with a dating context. He hasn't said anything explicit about that, but we get these good vibes, and I know that I'm actually crushing on him. Should I say something, or should I ask him out? Okay, first things first. Hey, you found an interest in a guy that shows he's going to church, that he has faith. You have friends of friends together, so there's some good vouching there. Those are all great things. Gold star, A+. Let's go back to the actionables. You have good chemistry with this person. They're a person that would be a great catch, so it seems. Does that mean as a woman you should ask them out? Here are my thoughts on this. I think this question is not so much an if, but a what if. So it's not if you can ask them out. Of course you can ask them out. I mean, you have a voice, you have initiative, you can, but should you? Like, and what if you did? What would that mean? I want to take it from that context because here's the thing. With anything initiated, there is something that follows. So there is a pattern or a rhythm that coincides with what is started. It's like this inertia mindset of something in motion will continue in motion. And so what I don't want to see women do is they ask the guy out, they share all their interest, they make that first move and then have to continue this pattern of making the moves. And I think that's why we're seeing even some women feeling like they need to propose because maybe the guy they're dating has not shown his ability to initiate, or he's been used to a woman or his woman, the woman he's dating, doing that for so long. So what I don't want to see is my single friends that are interested in someone, I don't want to see you get off on the wrong foot of feeling like you have to be the initiator, the leader, the rhythm maker of this relationship. And look, I get it. That first initiation there can be awkward for man and woman. It's like, oh, I think they like me. Do they like me? Should I make them move? Should I say something? Are they just nice? Are they trying to flirt? It can be awkward for anyone. So I get there's some like trepidation there of like, should I, shouldn't I? But as a woman, I would encourage you to not try to initiate, but maybe show interest. You can show that you're available without being desperate. I don't think any woman wants to come across as like they're trying too hard or that like pick me type category. But we want to see action, especially if we're like, hey, man, I really enjoy my conversations with this person and I feel like they're interested. I'm curious where this could go, but it's not going. That's where the actions, we either have the step of we can make the first move, ask him out, tell him, hey, I'm interested. Do you want to go out with me? Or we can show that we are available, we're single, we are interested. And let me just paint a picture for what those two differences could look like. The first would be having to actually initiate the date. So you go to this guy, maybe I've talked a few times, maybe more, and you just say, hey, I'm free on Friday night. Would you want to go out on a date with me? Would you want to go grab dinner, go here? And you have to put yourself out there. And then he gives you the yes or a no. So you're kind of saying like, hey, here's my heart. What you think? And I know it's just the first date, but you are having to unguard your heart in a way. That's at least the way I see it, is you take yourself from a stance of like protection and the ability to be pursued to you are pursuing. And I'm just not a fan of that. Like if it was my girlfriend, my sister, my daughter, I would encourage her and say, hey, you actually get the chance and the position to be pursued. Maybe he's going about it a little slow, but like don't get up from your seat to inch the realm closer. Like keep your spot, maybe, whip your hair, show your interest, like do something, but don't leave that position because it's such a beautiful position that women get to have of you get to be adorned, you get to be pursued, you get to be noticed. And yeah, sometimes that may be, well, I don't feel like anyone's noticing me or he's noticing me a little too slow, but is that worth taking another position? I don't think so. The other side of the action would be to show you're available, to show your interest. And that could look like maybe you're having a conversation and like you just drop subtle hints. I think guys actually really practically love when there is some hints. Again, it could be daunting to ask someone out, especially if you're this successful, beautiful, engaging woman that maybe a lot of guys want to ask out, and he's like, oh, should I do it? Do I even have a chance? He could be nervous. And so what you can do is like give him little thumbs up and like cheer him on the way, or like show him like, yeah, you are reading the signals right. I will say yes to you if you ask me out, kind of things. In subtle ways, let's say that. So maybe it's just, yeah, I'm hanging out with my friends, like showing I'm doing things with friends, not with a boyfriend already, or just smiling at him or laughing at his jokes. I know guys love for their jokes to be laughed at. Look, guys love to know that like what they're trying to do to initiate and to make you laugh is working. So it can be super subtle. You don't have to like dress a new way. You don't have to go over and about to go find him and to like hang out where he hangs out. Like we're not talking about any of that where it's more of like a forcing thing, but it's just whenever you do see them, communicate with them, just be intentional, show eye contact, be talkative, like show that you are interested in him and things like that. So I think sometimes we don't realize how shy we come across, or it's like, well, we're waiting on him to ask us out, so we're just kind of like sitting here waiting like Rapunzel. No, like you can have eye contact, you can engage, you can like cheer him on to ask you out in very subtle, appropriate ways that give him the footing to be able to initiate. Since I'm such a visual person, I wonder if this would speak to you too as an anecdotal story. We've all been on Instagram or Pinterest and we've seen those ads that come up so many times and so in your face that you end up going, I'm not interested, please get this off my feed, because it's just too out there. And we've also seen that, oh, that's like a really cute bag. I've never noticed that brand before. I'll think about it. And then it comes back up just one time, just like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still an option. And then you go, okay, yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm going to get it. Maybe it's not a bag. Maybe it's a snack. Maybe you're a foodie too. Whatever it is, there's like the subtle reintroduction or the reminder. And it's like, okay, yeah, I've thought about it. I want to act on it. But then there's the overtness that's just like in your face. It feels forced. It feels like it's constantly showing up even when you weren't ready to think about it again. And so I think that can be our approach. Like the desperation act, if a woman was really trying to force, like, hey, please ask me out. I'm here. I'm not leaving you alone. The conversation had a natural end, but I'm still trying to force it. You know, some of that when you can feel it, he can feel it, and you should just let it run its course rather than, oh, we're around, we're going to talk. Okay, and then that's it. I'm here, leaving you with a smile. Think about me kind of thing. I'm curious for the guys watching if you can attest in the comments below, but I would say that men do like that subtle reminder and like that wink of like, yeah, go ahead and ask me out. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm interested, without you having to actually kind of push them over the start line. Like let them start, but just start cheering them on. There are 66 books of the Bible, but I really wish there were 67, one about dating, because there are so many questions of like, what's the biblical advice on this? And the truth is, the biblical advice on dating is about how you carry yourself and about marriage. And so we really have to garner truth from those. And so when I say that your position is to be adorned, it is to be pursued, I'm looking at verses in the Bible which talks about how a man should love his wife. He should be willing to lay down his life for her. He should love her like Christ loves the church. That it's this all encompassing idea. And sure, you could say, well, that's very gray for if I can just ask a guy out on a date or not. Sure. The way my mind works, I go to, okay, well, it's not a if you can, but it's a what if. What if you do? And you're continually having to be the decision maker. You're having to pull him before he's ready, rather than complimenting him in a way that he is a leader. Again, like the Bible verses say, like he is someone that is self-controlled. He is someone that is diligent. He is righteous. Like how can you help sharpen what's within him instead of trying to pull him to be like, come ask me out, come do this. And then what happens if, all right, no, propose to me, let's get married, do this in your career. Like there's a difference in pulling someone to try to get them to do what you want and complimenting them, almost like lifting their hands up when they're weak and like, you got it, come on. Something of that, like that gentle nurturing nature, which is the attribute of like an Ezer Kenezzo woman, of that helper, that co-laborer. How are we walking in our femininity and showing we're available without trying to pull a man into like this trap almost? And I know that's extreme. I don't think that's what anyone's intentions are, but that's how it can be perceived if we go about it the right way. And my heart for all my girls out there is like, I want you to be protected. I want your heart to be guarded. I don't want your hope just for him to ask you out to look like you're putting yourself in a position where you could get hurt or your intentions are questioned. Like, I just don't want that for you. So my advice would be, if we were just girlfriend to girlfriend, I'd say, let him ask you out. If he's going about it a little slow, just give him some grace, give him some encouragement. Or if you're interested in him and he's not giving you the signals back, he could not be interested. That's like a tough pill to swallow, but he's not the last option. Or maybe he's just not interested yet. Maybe he doesn't know you well enough. Maybe he is a more cautious dater, and that's not a bad thing either. I look at some stories like Ruth and Boaz and the amount of interactions that they had before he asked her out, but before he proposed to her. There was some delays there. There was him getting to know her, him saying, oh God, she's so diligent, you just bless her. And then one day it clicked and he's like, oh, I can bless her by making her my wife. I can take care of her. I can provide for her. So sometimes there is that slow click moment. And that's okay. What Ruth did is she continued to go around and say, yeah, I'm a widow. I'm available. I'm here. I'm not going to start dressing different or do anything crazy, but I'm going to continue to show up and live my life and show that I'm available. And I think we can model that too if you're a single woman. Just okay, well, how do you show you're available and interested without being desperate? You know who you are. You know what your boundaries are. You are able to communicate with someone. You are consistent in your behavior, and then you show why you would be a good catch. Why should this person ask you out? Well, because I walk in faith. I walk in integrity. I know the kind of beauty that I behold. I'm not going to vary from that. And, if you're the one for me, in due time, you will notice that. Essentially, the best thing you can do if you're a single woman looking for someone to ask you out is simply be upfront with what you offer. Now, someone else that is upfront with what they offer is my friends at Good Ranchers. What they offer is 100% American beef, and they're actually offering a special code just for you guys of the Spring Into Action offer, and it has free bacon, free ground beef, free seed oil chicken nuggets, or wild-caught salmon in every order for a year, plus $10 off if you use our code DFH for Dear Future Husband. And I love this because so much of, just like dating, so much of the eating market is this question of should I, shouldn't I? What if I eat this? What if I don't? You can eat anything just like you can ask someone out, but should you? What are the best ingredients to put in your food? Who are the companies you should trust? And GoodRanchers.com is a company you can trust. They have this meat subscription box that my husband and I do, and we've absolutely loved it. My toddler loves it. And it's just so easy coming straight to your door. I wish dating was as easy as this. Sadly, it's not, but we'll get there. We're working on it together. But I wanted to be upfront with you and show you this easier, better, quality way to get your meat and protein in, and that's with GoodRanchers.com. Again, you can get $40 off if you use our code DFH for Dear Future Husband. I will link that in the bio. And again, these are our friends, Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Now, I want to deliver one more bit of advice to you before you go back out into the dating world. I know, I'm sorry, it's scary sometimes, but you got it. It's worth navigating for that thriving, godly marriage that you seek. Again, I want to remind you that the goal isn't just to date for fun or have the best dating experience. It's to, if we are going to navigate the waters of dating, to do it in a way where we know we're dating with the intent to marry. So that means we're going to, date someone that is of quality. We are going to put ourselves out there in a way that is of quality. I don't even like that word, put yourself out there. Just show up as yourself in a way that's quality. So you don't have to compromise the way that you want to be pursued. You don't have to compromise the way that you communicate or what you stand for. You simply just show up as yourself. And I do believe the right person will notice. Again, maybe a little slower than we'd like, or maybe we just have to be patient with it. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll notice right away and it'll just be so clear that they're the one from that. But I want to encourage my girlfriends listening. Don't feel like you have to initiate to get the ball rolling. Rather, just show interest. There's a difference between initiation and interest. You all know that I'm a big advocate in praying for your marriage and praying for your future spouse, even now while you're single. And if you're in that spot of, I'm frustrated by what I'm seeing in dating, I'm getting a little doubtful or impatient, my advice to you would be take it to God, use it through prayer. Let that be your outworking of what to do next, where to go, how to have peace. I mean, you can be praying right now for your future spouse. You may not even know him yet. You may think, I haven't even met someone that I think would be of quality or caliber for what I'm looking for in a mate. Just pray for him. Pray for him to be of peace and to be walking well in the season he's in. Pray for him to be ready whenever you do meet to ask you out and to be ready for marriage. Let that be of, God, I'm praying for his faith. I want him to be strong in his faith. I want him to be ready in his career. I want him to have community around him that's spurring him in the right direction. All of these things. And again, I mentioned this before, but we have the Dear Future Husband podcast community on Instagram. And we share little snippets of prayer prompts that you can use in praying for your future husband, because I get it. It's a little awkward at first, praying for someone you don't know if you're still single, but it's so worthwhile. And it's what we've created this whole podcast community around, because it's what I did. It's what I believe in. I believe that prayer is the biggest thing to changing our mindset, renewing our mind, and just drawing us back to the heart of God in any season and in any desire. So I hope that you've gotten something from this episode. If you started it a little anxious, you're a little bit more at peace now. And I want to hear from you guys what you're walking through in dating, what episodes we need to talk about, what guests we need to bring on. I just love hearing from you, if I'm honest. And until next time, I've been your host, Christian, and I will see you next Thursday.